Chaps, I've got Rob on here, and do you know what? Normally these video calls are pretty well organised, but we met each other 20 minutes ago via Instagram, and it's more to do with the Will Smith gate and the whole Oscars and all of this. So, well, I'm not going to describe your video because I think you're going to describe it better, but I'm not. I need your attitude on MANUP so other people can hopefully learn from you. So, what's your video about, right?
So it was jumping on the bandwagon like everyone else did yesterday. I created a meme that was relevant to my business, and I watched 20 other memes come in within a minute after, and then it just went on and on all day. I was watching the video again and again, and I thought, no one's really talking about an issue that I'm seeing here, because I've seen it in so many other guys and I've seen it in my own life, that guy, Will Smith, just lost complete emotional control, hit complete breaking point. And no one's actually talking about it. We're talking about, should he have, well, some people are talking about, was it staged? Some people are talking about, should Chris Rock have made a joke? We're talking about Jada Smith's condition, talking about all these different things. And no one's actually talking about this guy that in front of millions completely lost it, went up, committed a fairly tame, but still a violent act with no thought of the consequences, was clearly emotional afterwards. Like that wasn't a pure bravado thing of, right, I'm going to slap because you talked, crap about my missus and then sit down and I'm the big man. He was clearly holding back tears at the end. His speech later that night was very, very overly emotional for Will Smith, as we've known him for however many years it is now. And I thought that's something that no one's really talking about. And if we're not having that conversation about someone as well known as Will Smith, we're certainly not having that conversation about our mate that we haven't seen for a couple of weeks, or mate who lives over the road, or someone we know at work that may be having these little emotional breakdowns at the same time. And got quite a good response actually from it, apart from people knocking the Essex accent. But
mate, I'm from Essex, but now I've been living in Suffolk just long enough, so now I'm listening to you think I really miss my accent, man. But even here, people are like, "Oh, you're from London and Essex." So, no, I think you hit the nail on the head, mate. Because no one, literally, you will not find any press, any social media is like, why has he done that? And let's not forget, this is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, arguably one of the first cool people. Oh my God, I just realised I nearly did that. That means I'm over that age, doesn't it? But basically, he founded coolness, didn't he? Up to a point. Like we all grew up with that, and even with his kids, he's always well orchestrated. He's always well planned. It's just like for him to. It's not like he even lost the plot. I don't. It was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was the initial moment I saw it was. At first, I thought, nah, that can't be real. That can't be right. But it's the second time I watched it, when he's walking back to his seat and you can see the lips going, you can see he's not quite looking himself, and then that shouting and swearing and holding back tears afterwards. To me, that's one of those moments where you go, something's not right here. But people are too busy thinking about, well, he's just disrupted the entire Oscar ceremony. We're talking about, should we slap comedians or not? Like instantly, the direction the conversation should have gone went the complete opposite way for me.
Yeah,
and again, like I say, someone like Will Smith, the first definition of cool, Fresh Prince, so many decent films, and then later down the line when we saw he's actually quite a good emotional actor in things like Pursuit of Happiness and stuff like that. But he always had his head screwed on. Always very well presented in public, very well spoken, looked after himself physically. You would never have thought that Will Smith is the person we'd be having this conversation about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But saying that, we could say the same about Robin Williams, bless him as well. And this is the thing, isn't it? It's just that there are many people out there where we just watch them fall.
Yeah.
And I've known many, but like I used to help out with soup kitchens and all this kind of stuff. It's half the homeless people in Ipswich I'm friends with. And sometimes you just like, well, how do you get it? Once you build a relationship, how do you get in this? How do you get into this? I was just like, oh, I lost my job. I just started drinking. That story. A couple of months of no money. They're on the streets. Like, did no one around you speak to you? So no, everyone was just calling me a drunk. And I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Before people snap, just say, ignore the drinking, ignore the drugs, ignore the excessive porn and all, and actually just what's got you to that place.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with that Will Smith, isn't it, really? And I think the scary thing was, I'm not a doctor, I'm not qualified, but the scary thing was how slow you walked onto that stage. This wasn't a rage. This was like, I don't know, it's weird watching it. It's just, anyone else, you kind of expect it.
And that's why I think it's even more of a red flag, because it's not behavior we've ever expected from him before. Never seen him being violent before, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's one of the biggest actors on the planet, but I don't follow him that closely. I don't know of any scandals or incidents or anything like that.
No, exactly.
It would make us say, oh, well, it's, you know, it's to be expected. So I don't know. It was, like you say, it certainly wasn't rational thinking. It was a very slow walk up. You were kind of thinking, is he mucking around? Even Chris Rock was like, is he mucking around? Like, what's going on here? He made a joke about it. For me, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we go back, I can think of one in particular, but I'm sure if we go back, there might be more red flags that we've missed. And this is the same as what we do in our own life. We're so distracted by, well, our own stuff, which is fine, but we're so distracted by stuff that doesn't matter. Like, for example, the direction this conversation about Will Smith's going already.
Yeah.
For me, that's a massive detraction from the real issue.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's a tough one because, you know, you want to be happy for him. That speech later that day was a bit odd. It's to be expected, you know, with what he had just gone through earlier that day. There's now people moaning this morning. Footage emerged of a party that he was at afterwards, which again, then the loud signal that comes to me there is we're already dictating how this guy should be acting. So, okay, he had this massive outburst, but he shouldn't be enjoying himself later that night for an award that he pretty much deserves.
Yeah.
Like, it was phenomenal performance, as it normally is with him, phenomenal film. If anyone deserved that award that night, it was him. So why shouldn't he celebrate? What should he be doing instead? Should he be sitting at home in the dark thinking about what he's done? Should he be doing massive amounts of press apologizing? That's not up to us.
Yeah.
We should be deciding what he's doing. And by trying to do that, we're just, again, how many yes men is he probably surrounded by?
I would not want to be him right now.
No way in hell.
Yeah, like the thought of losing his career. And I think I don't really I look at social media. I don't really read the news that much because it just puts me into mild rages. So it's a flag for me. So I'm just I can't be dealing with it. I think, yeah, he's surrounded by loads of people. He's got the fear of losing the Oscar. I think there's a petition about him losing an Oscar.
Yeah.
And all this kind of, and that's, so I would not want to be him right now. But I think you've hit. I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Ignoring that is, it's like we're obsessed with how people should behave. And I did look at his Instagram straight after I saw your video, an hour ago, or whatever, and he has posted an apology to Chris Rock. And the one thing I respect about that actually is he didn't do it straight away. He didn't, as far as I know, he didn't say, I'll never apologize. He didn't react. He responded.
Yeah.
That's the Will Smith I'm kind of used to. But everyone's like doing a public apology and all this. You know, he's used the tools he's got to go, and sounds like he's had to think about it, and maybe he's had a chat with his wife as well. And I think with mental health, that's the thing. We've got to let people work stuff out, but that doesn't mean we should ignore them while they're falling as well. We should just go, oh, Rob, I'm here for you, mate. If you want to go to the pub. Maybe not if they're getting pissed up every single night, but if you want to go and have a coffee, let's go and have a coffee and just have a chat about it.
Yeah,
but it's not my job to tell you how you should be living your life and how you should be acting. And I think that's the dangerous thing with mental health.
Yeah, exactly. With in terms of whether he should have been partying afterwards or not, which I 100% think he should have. In terms of how he's done his apology, he's never going to make everyone happy, and he shouldn't try to either. We can't judge him by our standards, which most people, it's all keyboard warrior stuff.
But it's the 80-20% rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Yeah, just for those people don't. 80, you can only please 80% of 80% of people in life. But if you try and please the 20% as well, you guarantee you'll annoy the 80%.
Yeah, exactly.
There's my little business thing. Sorry, carry on, Matt. Anyway, so I was rude.
There's nothing he can do. Like I said, there's nothing he can do that's going to please everyone. But that shouldn't be his job. His job is not to please everyone. His job is to live the best life he can, support his kids, support his family, which from the looks of it, I guess he's always been doing. It's rough when you're that famous, I guess, and you have your public life constantly scrutinized. You know, that's the memes that have gone around in the last 24 hours. That's not the first meme that's been made about his marriage in the slightest. And that's got to have been rough as well. Yeah, we're so quick to go, well, I would have done this. Man, how many people I know yesterday put a poll out on their Insta story saying, what would you have done in this situation? You're like, oh, I'd have choked him out. I'd have hit him rather than slapped him. Would you though? Would you? That's a bit of a red flag as well, you know? That's a bit of a red flag for me is, would you have done that? Or, I don't know. It's tough to say unless you're in that exact situation, but he was laughing and joking right up till that moment. And then it was a sudden, he's on the stage.
It was like when everything just got processed, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was it.
And then,
I do feel, I feel bad for like choosing Will Smith as like the example, but he's in the news, so it's the closest to relate to it. But I think it clearly does show how, doesn't matter how big, powerful, strong, respectable, like anyone can snap.
Yeah,
anybody can snap, and I think it's finding ways to prevent that. And I don't want to speak for Will Smith. I've got no right to do that, but I can only say what I think might have happened is maybe he's got a load of other stuff going on, and just that moment, that's when everything. When he saw red, say for example, there was an ex-sniper who I've had on MANUP before, and actually there's been a couple of people. There was a guy on PTSD, and he was saying that the day he snapped was when he had to fill up the sugar pot, and his wife brought a bigger bag of sugar. So him being him, just tipped it all in and it overflowed. And then he knocked it over. And when he knocked it over, the dogs come running because dogs love sugar. And that's what made him snap. And then from that, I think it was, I'm not going to say, just I can't remember if I said it in the video or not, but the police found him 6 hours later at like 3 o'clock in the morning on death's door, hyperventilating or hypothermia.
Yeah.
That's it. He was basically near enough starbollock naked. And you could say, well, it was only a pot of sugar. What? Get over it. Basically, it's not. It's the build up before. And I'm still a massive fan. Probably the wrong word. I still strongly believe that a lot, not all mental health conditions. I've got BPD. I'm well aware I've probably got that for the rest of my life. And I just have to know my boundaries. And I think even the high functioning depressive stuff, I'm well aware I'm probably going to have that. But I've chosen to live with it rather than suffer with it. And yet again, before someone gets pissed off, because somebody will do, I know I'm one of a kind and it's not a sweeping statement. I know that, blah, blah, blah. I think I have to learn my triggers, and I have to go to somebody like, Phil is a trusted thing. I'm more than happy to go send him a text and say, you're up for a pint now. Get rid of that little demon or whatever terminology. Get rid of it then before it escalates into something else. So I feel like I just waffled, mate. Sorry.
No, it's all relevant. That's exactly what I've done when I was going through my roughest time. That's what I wish more people had done with me. And so what I make a real effort to do now is, if I know one of my mates is struggling, it is as simple as meet me here for a drink. Not for the alcohol, but for a change of environment. So if you can guarantee what's triggering them is right there in front of them, and they haven't got the capability, the tools at that moment in time to deal with it, so you just get a complete change of scenery. Okay, so a bar, that's a cool one because you can people watch, you can just talk, there's a bit of music going on. They're not the most negative environments in the world, and it doesn't have to be a pub. Maybe it's just a walk in the park or something like that. Maybe it's something entirely different. That change of environment for me, just getting away from that trigger. Okay, I know you can't run away from your problems, but for that moment in time, you're getting a good chat with a good mate. You're getting the chance to vent that you're probably not getting the chance to do before. And again, your focus is no longer on this burning thing that's right in front of you. If you look at, I only briefly saw it, and again, it could be taken completely out of context, but I saw a picture of apparently not long after he slapped Chris Rock that Denzel Washington's over by him, like whispering in his ear. His wife's got a hand on his knee. Like that's what a mate does. Someone goes and check. That's what I finished with my video is I hope someone's checking in on him. I hope someone's checking up with him. Turns out he was partying that night, and cool. I'm happy with that. I'd rather that than him be sat in the dark, you know, with the demons really on his shoulder. And that's all it takes sometimes. It's just that little let's go have a chat. Don't have to try and fix the issue for them. You just have to listen or talk about something entirely different, you know?
Well, it's like that old saying, isn't it? A problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah.
And it really is. So let me ask you then, just I know we come up to the end on this. So if you see one of your mates having a bit of a wobble, what would you do?
So first thing is I start a conversation with them, and just try and delve a little bit deeper with them. Like I know some of my mates who go for the biggest struggles, I know pretty well when they're struggling. And that's just through watching and listening previously. And so I make sure I don't just say, hey, how you doing? And then we chat about something else entirely or share some memes or something. It's, are you doing all right? Do you want to meet up for a chat? I haven't seen you for a little while. Just try and check in on the regular with them. Because it's only, like you say, that guy leading up to that snap with the sugar pot, that's probably years of built up stuff, but maybe that's only a couple of weeks worth of trigger after trigger after trigger that really sent him over the edge.
Yeah.
So if you're left on, if you're on your own for too long, if you're isolated for too long, with no way to deal with it or no one to support you, those demons get loud really quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because do you know what? Recently, I've just tweaked because there's a guy, he doesn't follow MANUP, so should be right. But funny enough, he says it's too triggering. At least he's honest about it. But he's just. I said to him actually, because I know he's having a proper wobble at the minute, and I went to him. I was like, mate, my life's a bit crap, and I've got loads of stuff going on. Let's go and have a drink or go and have a coffee. And he was like, yeah, absolutely fine. And then we got there. I picked on him.
Right. Yeah.
I'm making that sound quite dramatic, but it's just because I do strongly believe that people have had some sort of mental health issues or demons, whatever terminology you want to go through, they never want somebody else to go through the same thing.
100%.
So they're always willing to just spend a couple of. I'm not suggesting that everybody should have some sort of like mental health problem or issue, because I'll trust me, I would never ever want that.
Yeah.
I think just changing, sometimes just changing the word, especially if they're a stubborn shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's if you know that they are struggling, trying to get them back to normality is going to be a bit of a battle. But
yeah,
if your relationship with that person, like you say, is to dig them out a little bit, take the mick, like, why would you not do that? Don't take the mick directly about their problems, and certainly don't take the mick out of their wife's hair, but just take the mick like you normally would with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And let them recognize you're still the same person, you're still the same mate, and they get that recognition that you're there to support them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember one of my mates, I watched him have a full-blown mental breakdown. He was crying, snot everywhere and all this kind of stuff. But funny enough, now we laugh about it.
Yeah.
And I think our friendship actually is because I still take the piss out of it. I would have then, but nowadays, like, do you remember that time when I basically like, let's give you a tissue and wipe your nose for you, mate? Because now we can have a bit of low. But the thing is our friendship is actually quite strong.
Yeah, that's it. And that probably strengthened it as well, you know? Without much closer friends,
without question, because it's just honesty, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. Honestly, that's 100%. Yeah,
happy days. I think our work here is done.
I think so, my man.
That was a good one. Let me just hit the old record button thing. Bear me 1 second.